This young guy loved investigating paranormal activities and creepy historical events, but his hobby turns into a nightmare when he gets sucked into another dimension full of zombies. Ash is a friendly man with a regular job, but an unfortunate event changed his life completely. He had a lovely girlfriend named Linda. They both were interested in exploring creepy places and found an abandoned cabin in the woods. A few years ago, an archaeologist used to live in this cabin to translate and study his latest discovery called the Book of the Dead. He left the book there, and Ash found it and explored it along with Linda. It was bound in human flesh and written with blood. The Sumerian text inside the book contained bizarre burial rites, funerary incantations, and demon resurrection passages. It was never meant for the world of the living. The book awoke something in the woods, which took away Linda. It also came after Ash and infected his hand. Ash didn't give up and cut off his hand with a chainsaw to stop the infection from spreading through his body. He survived that time, but after a few days, it came for him again. A portal opened in front of the cabin and sucked in Ash and his car. He lands in the middle of a desert where the people dress like ancient warriors. Ash tells them he meant no harm and just wants to return home. Some of the people assume that he is the one who was mentioned in the Book of the Dead. He was prophesied to fall from heaven, but others accuse Ash of being with an enemy named Henry. They chain him and drag him to the castle. Everyone gathers to honor their leader named Lord Arthur. Afterward, they open a deep pit in which the criminals are thrown as a punishment. Ash is put forward along with Henry, who immediately recognizes that Ash is not one of his men. Henry is the Lord of the Northlands and the sworn enemy of Lord Arthur. Both of the lands are cursed by a mysterious evil entity, but Lord Arthur has blamed Henry and started a war. Now he wants to kill Henry by throwing him in the pit. To demonstrate how dangerous it is, Arthur orders his men to throw another captive first. As soon as the captive falls in the pit, a fountain of blood reaches out of the pit, proving that the poor captive faced a tragic death. Another captive is running away, but Arthur kills him skillfully with an arrow. There's no escape. Now it's Ash's turn. He starts begging the guards to let him go as he doesn't even know Henry or any other of them. However, no one listens to him, and Ash is thrown into the pit. He falls in a puddle of water with several caves around him. Suddenly, a zombie emerges from the water and attacks Ash with his deadly claws. Moreover, 2 walls full of sharp spikes gradually come closer to crush Ash. He is fighting the zombie while the people above are enjoying the show. Suddenly, a mysterious old man brings the chainsaw from the car and gives it to Ash. He joins the chainsaw on his arm and kills the zombies. Afterwards, he pulls out his belt and hangs on the rope to get out of the pit. Ash also gets his shotgun from the car and uses it to scare the people. They all fall before his power and start respecting him as their lord. Ash gets fed with lots of food and several gorgeous women look after him. He calls the wise man of the kingdom to ask him how he can go back home. The wise man reveals that Ash has traveled back in time and only the Book of the Dead can help him. It has a passage which must be recited to open the time portal. However, the book is lost and only Ash can get it back to save the kingdom. The conversation is interrupted by an old lady who has also turned into a zombie. She attacks everyone, but Ash is not scared at all. He grabs his shotgun and defeats the zombie. The wise man begs him to help in getting the Book of the Dead before it falls in the hands of the zombies. Otherwise, the whole of humanity will be wiped out by evil. Ash agrees and takes help from the blacksmiths to build a metal hand for himself so he can easily fight with the zombie. A young girl named Sheila is really impressed with his bravery. She visits him at night to give best wishes for the quest. Ash admits that he is going on this quest just because he wants to use the book to return home. However, the feelings he is developing towards Sheila are real, and he gives her a goodbye kiss. The next morning, the wise man takes Ash to a creepy place and shows him a path. It will lead him to an unholy place, and there he will find a cemetery where the Book of the Dead is kept. While picking up the book, Ash must recite these words, Klatu Varata Nikto. The wise man tells Ash to repeat after him a few more times to remember the words, but Ash refuses to do as he trusts his memory. He rides his horse on the scary path which takes him to a thick forest. Ash feels that someone is following him, so he rushes to find a safe place. The horse runs so fast that Ash falls off and lands in a puddle. The creepy thing is still after him, so he keeps running blindly. Ash finds a windmill and hides inside. The mysterious creature keeps banging on the door for a while, and then it disappears. Ash looks around and finds a weird mirror. He breaks the mirror in terror, but a tiny clone of Ash emerges out of each piece of the broken mirror. They are extremely naughty and try to find several ways to tease Ash. Firstly, they pick up a fork and hit it on Ash's butt. Then they get on the shotgun and start firing in the air. Ash gets really angry and kills one clone with a fork and crushes another one with his foot. The remaining clones attack him together and make Ash fall unconscious. When he wakes up, he assumes that it was just a nightmare. Then he tries moving his body, but fails. He has been tied to the ground by the clones. They forcefully open his mouth and one of the clones jumps inside the mouth. He starts running around in Ash's stomach and makes him sick. Ash is really frustrated because of the clone, and he drinks burning hot water to kill it. The stomach feels calmer for a while, but then Ash feels something hurting his shoulder. There is a human eye forming on the shoulder. Ash runs out of the windmill to look for help. The eye on his shoulder turns into a head, and then into a whole identical clone of Ash. The clone calls himself the Bad Ash, and starts torturing the real Ash, who shoots him with the shotgun. The clone hasn't died yet, so Ash takes him inside, and uses his chainsaw to cut the clone into several pieces. Afterward, Ash buries the clone, but the head keeps talking, and warns of his return. Ash isn't scared, and proceeds to complete his quest. He finds the cemetery which the wise man mentioned. Ash looks around and finds the high spot where the book must be kept. Surprisingly, there are 3 identical books, and only one of them can be real. Ash opens the first book, which sucks him inside a weird portal. When Ash comes out of it, his face changes into a funny appearance. Ash shakes his head to get back his face, and then he starts thinking which book he should choose next. Ash randomly grabs one, but it has teeth and bites. After getting rid of the wrong ones, Ash proceeds towards the actual Book of the Dead, but Ash suddenly remembered that the wise man told him to recite the words. Ash tries to recall the exact words, but fails. He can't remember the last word. Ash assumes that maybe the dead are not listening carefully. They may not notice if he says the words slightly wrong. Ash picks up the book while reciting the words. At first, everything seems fine, but then the sky gets cloudy, and it begins to rain with severe thunderstorms. Heavy winds are blowing, and the ground is shaking. Ash tries to sneak out of the cemetery, but because of the mistake he made, the dead emerges from the graves. The skeletons pull Ash down on the ground and play with his face. Ash somehow gets out of the cemetery and heads back to the castle. The people celebrate to see their hero returning with the book. Ash asks the wise man to fulfill his promise and send him back home, but the wise man keeps asking if Ash said the words while picking up the book or not. Ash admits that he may have said the words slightly wrong. The wise get enraged and tell Ash that his mistake has put the whole kingdom in danger. The army of the dead has awoken. Ash doesn't care and asks to send him back home as soon as possible. Lord Arthur reaches there too and orders his men to pay back the favor as promised. Sheila sees this all as well and asks Ash if he is not going to help them like a true hero. When Ash refuses, Sheila calls him a coward and she walks away. Meanwhile, the clone which Ash had buried also jumps out of the grave to lead the army of the dead. A flying zombie reaches the kingdom and takes away Sheila. The clone makes her a zombie too and calls Sheila as his wife. They have reached the cemetery where the skeletons are all helping their fellows in coming out. They are turning into a huge power army. Ash can't just leave these people in danger as they trusted him as their hero. He stands up on the tower and advises everyone not to run away. Ash is also ready to lead the kingdom on this mission. Everyone, including Lord Arthur, agrees. Ash goes back to his car and takes out everything he can find in the trunk. It also has a chemistry book, and Arthur uses it to make gunpowder. He also separates his car parts to make a new vehicle suitable to be used in war. Next day, Ash keeps making modern-style weapons and teaches others how to use them. They are fully prepared for the war. They have locked the Book of the Dead in a cage as it is what the zombies want. Afterwards, the soldiers set around the castle to guard it. The army of the dead reach there and start marching towards the castle while holding thick wooden shields. Ash has made special arrows full of gunpowder. As the soldiers throw these arrows on the skeletons, their shields are destroyed. Then they prepare the cannon and shoot toward the enemies. At first it seems like the humans have won, but the skeletons are too many in number, and it's not possible to kill someone who is already dead. The skeletons use a huge tree to break into the castle. They fight face to face with the knights and start taking the lead. Suddenly, Ash arrives there on his self-made cart, which has sharp blades on it to kill the skeletons. Everyone starts cheering for him while he defeats several skeletons. Suddenly, Ash notices Sheila, and he loses his concentration. The cart flips over and Ash falls in a corner. He is still willing to fight and grabs some random weapons to attack the zombie Sheila. Some of the skeletons have already started to climb up the tower to steal the book. Lord Arthur doesn't have enough guards there, but then he sees someone coming for help. It's Henry, and he has also brought his army. Seeing this, the clone decides to get the book by himself. Ash stops him with continuous attacks. More zombies get there, and now Ash has to fight all of them together. Ash lights fire on the clone and throws him off the building. The other zombie grabs the book, but Ash puts the zombie on a cannon and shoots him into the sky. The rest of the zombies and skeletons give up and retreat, while Sheila turns back normal. Henry and Arthur have joined hands, and they start planning a united and prosperous kingdom. The wise man prepares a potion using the Book of the Dead. He instructs Ash to drink this potion while saying specific words, and he will return to his time. Ash says goodbye to Sheila and gets back to his present. Several days have passed since the incident, but Ash still shares his experience with his friends. They have one question. Did Ash say the words correctly while drinking the potion? Actually, no. He made a mistake that has brought the curse to his time. He may encounter zombies quite often throughout his life, but now Ash knows how to deal with them.